History Inside a Nutshell, the show where we sail into our port of call discussing maritime history. To conclude Lusitania month, we are going to be touching on the subject of the Lusitania Wreck and how she was found and what would the future hold for her. Now, I know he's been on once during this month, but I would like to thank my friend Jake for narrating this video. Jake, it's been an absolute pleasure for you to come on as always to talk about the Lusitania, and until then I will leave you in Jake's capable hands as we talk about the Lusitania Wreck.
How and why the Lusitania Wreck has been neglected. On the 7th of May 1915, the RMS Lusitania sank off the coast of the Hold of the King Sail while she was approaching the final stage of her voyage from New York to Liverpool. She'd been struck by the German U-boat U-20, as the Germans believed that she'd been carrying rifle ammunition and shells. As a result of the 1,198 lives were lost. 2 decades later, the wreck was found by a group of divers from a salvage steamer, but how was the Lusitania found at a time when diving technology equipment was in its heyday? This is the story of the famous discovery. In the autumn of 1975, an expedition had been formed to recover items from the wreck site, when the salvage steamer, the Alpha, and her team found the wreck at a depth of 350 feet. The discovery of the wreck was a revolution in undersea technology and gear, but considering it was found earlier than the wreck of the Titanic, the Lusitania's condition had dramatically changed over time. In the 1930s, there was an invention of the Tritania suit, which was later renamed the gym suit. Following the discovery of the Lusitania, the Tritania suit was made out of magnesium alloy and employed spherical fluid-filled joints. This hadn't been the first time, as various spherical suits had been made since the Victorian era. However, none of them had been able to overcome the basic design problem of constructing a joint which would remain flexible and watertight at depth without seizing up under pressure. The first person to test the suit was diver Jim Jarrett, and somehow this proved to be successful, largely to the joints that provided resistance to pressure and moved freely even at depth. Aside from the suit, the rest of the diving equipment was complicated, which could have delayed the operation, especially at the beginning when the mission to find the wreck began. In 1931, a notable submarine pioneer, Simon Lake, created a syndicate and negotiated a contract to salvage the Lusitania. Lake had a plan to travel to the wreck within a steel tube, 5 feet in diameter, which would be submerged from the surface. The bottom of the tube would be composed of a dive chamber, which would rest on the deck of the shipwreck. When the tube would arrive at the site, the chamber was planned to pressurize divers to exit the device and search for the wreck on the sea floor. Although the construction of the tube was successful, its test proved to be a failure, mainly due to financial reasons. At the end of 1935, Lake's contract expired. Several expeditions followed. It wasn't until the 6th of October 1935 that the wreck was approximately 12 nautical miles off the coast of Ireland. The wreck was found by the crew of the salvage ship the Alpha, which was commanded by Captain Russell. The crew and the captain had used early echo sounding equipment to find the Lusitania. During their search, they used marked buoys on a sweep of 300 yards wide, and when she was found, it was reported that the wreck was found between 2 of the buoys that was laid out in the sea. 3 weeks later, the Alpha returned under the command of Captain John D. Craig. Alongside the crew and the captain, there was the diver Jim Jarrett. An American film company called Hollywood Motion Pictures Adventures provided Craig with film equipment to record the wreck. When Jarrett and Craig dived down to the wreck, he saw the Lusitania resting on her starboard side at an angle of 30 degrees. The keel had an unusual curvature, possibly related to the loss of the superstructure. When the ship submerged and resting on the sea floor, it's believed that the bow slammed into the bottom at about 100 metres below, at a shallow angle. It is also believed that during the final plunge, some boilers had exploded, including one that collapsed the third funnel. As a result, the funnel snapped off the ship. Sadly, the company never got the chance to film the wreck. Because of the currents and the cumbersome nature of the diving suits that were heavy equipment, attempts on filming were abandoned. Not long after, a series of salvage missions began. These included exhibits that were taken to Clyde in the late 1930s, recovering the ship's propellers in the 1960s and the telegraph in 2017. The only time that the wreck was left alone was during World War II, when the wreck was regularly depth charged to prevent German submarines. At the end of the war, salvage operations were reported to have been carried out by the British Admiralty. The Admiralty has denied these claims. Today, the Lusitania is a well-known site. However, the wreck is deteriorating due to corrosion, combined with the tides and currents in the Celtic Sea, which is partly collapsed because of the number of fishing nets that are covering the ship, and the numerous salvage operations that have taken place. There has been arguments on the rights to the wreck, but there are efforts to make the Lusitania a World Heritage Site. It is unclear if this decision has been confirmed. Also happening today are the rumours that are circulating within the Royal Navy. It is believed that the Navy is conducting and containing blasting operations on the wreck to remove evidence of munitions that are located within the wreck. The British Admiralty has never made telegrams between them and the Lusitania public, and the British government may still be covering this evidence up. Until then, we will never know what happened in 1915 and what is going on with the wreck today. In 2021, the Lusitania Museum was opened to the public and is now located at the Old Head of Kinsale. Along with the museum, there is also the Old Head Signal Tower, a memorial garden which includes a davit that was recovered from the wreck, a reminder of an ocean liner that took innocent lives at a time when war was dominating the world.
If you enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe for future videos. Until next time, this has been History Inside a Nutshell, departing from the docks. Thank you so much for all of your support and enjoy the rest of your voyage.